Welcome to Story Ideas on the Fly, where we pick a random prompt out of a hat and try to start developing it. Okay, let's see what it is today. Who wants to pick one? Ooh, lots of. Okay.
An urban fantasy where a boy discovers he's immortal and delicious.
Immortal and delicious.
Wait, immortal and delicious.
Okay.
Okay. So this is something.
First off, what kind of immortality?
Yeah, that's a good point. Are we going with the full immortality of...
I'd go hyper regeneration.
Probably.
Some level of regeneration. Otherwise, he's going to be, bitten by something, and by the end of the story, he's going to have limbs missing. So let's make him regenerate.
Yeah, good point.
Okay. Delicious to creatures, delicious to some alien race. What's he delicious
It's that
to?
urban fantasy.
fantasy.
Oh,
So
yeah.
only two
Fantasy.
vampires and werewolves.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Okay.
We could also throw Eldritch monsters in there if we want, but...
Well, if we're going just vampires, then that's a little just too trite, though,
That's a little too
because,
generic. But
everybody's delicious to the vampire. Although
he
here
could be
it's a
exceptionally
boy, and so
delicious.
the girl is, the vampire.
no. I like being delicious too, just like all the creatures of the night.
Yes!
He
Oh,
could be a
okay.
special type of blood or like something about him makes him
Well, he's
exceptionally
immortal,
tasty.
so obviously he's different than a normal person. These two
What?
things are probably very closely related.
What if he is not actually human and he doesn't know it? And
be
so these creatures of the night, you've got vampires and werewolves and whatever else you want, eldritch abominations you want to throw in, find him delicious and are after him. And he doesn't know that he isn't actually fully human.
Should we make it so he's an angel?
It's got to be something different.
No,
right?
no, not an angel. He is of an ancient race that is actually the source of all the supernatural creatures.
Ah.
I was gonna say, or he was the child of the Norse pig that regenerates every night.
Oh, that one too.
Wasn't that because of Mjolnir?
That was a goat.
Mjolnir?
No,
No, not a pig.
no.
No, the
there
goat
were
was the
two goats
the
that-
milk. The goat made the milk that was mead or beer.
No. Thor had two goats that were in addition
Okay.
to the. There were like 5 different animals in Norse
Magic
mythology
animals
that
in
you
Norse
could eat
But there
every
is a
night.
pig.
There is a pig that
Yes.
they could eat every night, and it would regenerate,
Regenerate. Yeah, what a life.
and it would be delicious.
Yes. Okay, so this boy is delicious to these creatures of the night who want his blood. Why,
It could be delicious to humans. They just don't know it. But
yes.
let's not find
Because
out.
humans don't have
Yeah.
a strong enough sense of smell to realize it.
Yeah, well, we don't really want to get a book into cannibalism, Cannibalism is a how-to. No, let's not do that,
Oh,
Yeah, we'll just leave that for the zombies.
Yeah,
okay.
all right.
You'd probably find him delicious too.
Exactly!
Okay, so we've got kind of our setting.
The semi idea.
So how's this? In ancient times, there was some kind of magic ritual, hocus pocus. Something happened. A group of mages found some powerful crystal, let's say, and basically utilized its power to create all the creatures of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Years later, he happens to, I don't know, reincarnation of that crystal or something kind of like that, where that crystal is now like his heart or something. And so because of that, he almost fuels the powers of monsters, so they feel stronger when they're around him, and so because of that, eating him, it's like delicious and gives him a power boost like caffeine.
It enhances his flavor.
Or kind
I
of
like
the
the idea.
kind of gods that have created these creatures of the night. He could be one of their, he could be half god. He could be a demigod, and
Like the Son of Darkness or something?
Or
That could be fun.
You could do that. There's lots of different directions you could go with this.
I'm kind of liking the idea of saying that he might think At the moment, I'm kind of leaning towards he's a reincarnation of the son of the god of darkness for some reason.
If he was a
but
reincarnation of it, I think he would be less likely to not know it.
well, if he's a reincarnation, then he wouldn't know.
You know, I don't know. I
Yeah,
kind
He,
of
he
still
has
think so.
some kind of connection. We'll figure that out later. As we,
Okay.
Okay.
What is the
What
conflict?
do we know?
What is
Other than
the-
everything wants to
Everything
eat
wants
him.
to eat him.
Yes, but that's just an attack on him. He needs something bigger, something outside of
Something
himself
going on
to
besides
fight
that.
for. Right. So
Well, if we have it so that we do end up saying that it's connected to his heart or something, then we could say that there's some kind of powerful entity that's wanting to specifically eat his heart.
Ooh,
to
you have
devour
a
his
cult
soul.
who wants to basically re-perform a similar ritual that to the one that first created vampires and werewolves and
Yeah.
stuff, to gain great power and become immortal themselves.
That could be fun.
Okay.
But they discovered, hey, there was this same thing that he's a son of, or that was reincarnated into him, or whatever it was. He has, so we need to get him and kill him and basically sacrifice him in this ritual.
okay,
Lovely.
you
That
could.
sounds like fun.
Yeah, you could do that. So if he needs to be sacrificed in this ritual, this is still
About
about
saving
him,
him.
saving
still protecting
himself.
himself.
So what are they going to do that is going to be a threat to the world, a threat to the city, a threat to how big do we want to go? You know, the threat's got to be more than just him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So what are they, this group, when they get this power, what are they going to do with it? What sinister thing?
It could be an almost like, well, you could just have it be that if they succeed in this ritual, they'd be able to transform into terrifying monsters and ravage the world. Of course, you could also throw a few additional things. You could. How far are they willing to go? Are they willing
Give
to
them the
destroy
power to
whole
take
towns
over
to
the
get?
world.
Oh,
Yeah.
what if
Mm-hmm.
there was a time, like kind of back in the days of dinosaurs where they existed before people or something. So there was a time of these creatures of the night. And then there was an apocalyptic event for them. And
Okay.
and
then humans filled the gap.
right, and then humans came in. And so what their goal is, now we've got this boy who is, I don't know exactly, but these, however the creatures came about, the creatures of the night came about. They aren't all gone, obviously,
Mhm.
but most of them were destroyed. Now there are some left, and they are trying to rise back to greatness. They want to totally get rid of the people. They want to put things back how it was, and
Okay.
they want, and so now we've got something really big they're driving for.
Something
Now,
big.
since this boy is an ancestor, he's a demigod, because somehow, these gods, I don't know if it's a line of demigods that he came from, or if we just, kind of Zeused it here, and Zeused it, it's a new word, and,
It's an accurate
came down.
description.
Yeah, we all
All
know
right.
Zeus, summed up in one sentence, he couldn't keep it in his pants, right? So, anyways,
He wasn't wearing pants, Mom.
okay, true, okay.
Pants weren't really in fashion until after the French Revolution. Okay, sorry. Well,
Okay. You know what I mean. All right. So
Mm.
I've talked enough. You guys take it.
okay. One thing
So we go with something
Sorry.
like that, then I think that would mean that first the creatures of the night were made back when magic was permeating the entire world, but then there was some kind of magical calamity that caused magic itself to nearly collapse, which led humans, this backwater race that nobody really cared about because they were just pathetic, to be able to take power because they were the only ones who had no need for magic
Or-
itself.
or weren't effective.
Alternate idea. So, often the creatures of the night are described as parasites to the human race, like
Yeah.
vampires, for example. Vampires would not be
That
able to
is true.
survive if humanity died. But it could be that you had ancient times. If we wanted to go with the creatures of the night came first, then we have it be the magical the calamity that nearly destroyed all the creatures of the night were the humans. they were originally like raised and grown almost as food for all these magic creatures, but the human through ingenuity, they managed to basically, and exploiting the weaknesses of the various races, like
Well, yeah,
sunlight.
because
Yeah.
and
They
things
were
like
able to
vampires
escape
are parasites
or-
to them.
Yeah, and so because of that, also it could have just been they outgrew themselves, because if you have too many vampires, they can't actually survive if there's more vampires than humans.
Mhm.
So eventually, the humans were actually what destroyed all the monsters.
Okay, and so now they want to come back and destroy them and take back over.
Almost like
Another
humans have
thought.
been growing too powerful, and now if they actually tried to take over humanity, well, humans way
It's kinda
outnumber
hard.
them, and humans have guns.
Oh no, it's very simple. You don't have to destroy humanity or overwhelm them with force, because there's this thing called politics.
Yeah, go ahead, Heather.
All right,
Let her talk.
One thing we could do, because you were worried at first about the hero protecting himself, we don't necessarily have to make the reason he's tasty, and we don't have to make him the tasty one and the one with the core that has all this power the same person, because the I mean, I'm not saying that there's no reason someone with a special core would be tasty, but the
Well, yeah, but we need a
Tasty.
reason for him to be tasty.
yes, but if he had a friend or a girl or someone who he was protecting who had the core, and he had some other special
Okay, what's that
reason
other
he's-
special reason then?
Hmm.
If you want to go with something like that, then just make it so that he's not the main character.
Yeah, that's what she's saying.
I'm saying no, he'd be the main character, but he wouldn't be the chosen one. He wouldn't be the one that everyone.
No, but what I'm saying is that it's almost impossible to make it so he's not the chosen
He's
one.
the chosen one, let's face it. He's immortal, he's delicious. That was literally the premise.
If you wanted to make it so that he's
Okay.
not that, if you want to try to make it so he's not the chosen one, we'd have to scrap everything we have at this point and completely restart.
Okay.
Okay.
So
which
if you
one
want to
then?
make it so that it is something where you're having someone protect someone else, make it so he's not the main character. Make it so someone else is the main character trying to protect him.
I don't know if that's.
He is the chosen one in some
Real
form. It
Boy
doesn't
Discover
necessarily
season. It
have to
doesn't
be
say
he
he's
has
the
to
main
be
character, but okay.
sacrificed. He has to specifically be
Yeah, that was
sacrificed.
the part that wasn't necessary to the plot. So
I
we were
mean,
saying
if,
we
it,
could
if
make
it's
him.
not him, though, it's probably going to be an item
Yeah.
or some kind of special ritual.
Well, we were just wondering how you deal with. He's, we've got to stop the creatures of the night. Well, a lot of creatures of the night, like you said, are parasites that depend on humanity. So they're not going to wipe out humanity.
They're going to
most likely.
enslave.
No, but they're going to enslave them. They're going to want to
Yes.
move people to human forms.
Yeah,
where
that
they
was my
raise them
whole
like
point
animals
that I
and
was
that's,
made.
That's fine.
Eat
We can do
eat
that.
off of them. Yeah, I'm kind of.
Which I think means that we basically want to make it so that he is the deciding factor of the vampires, all these guys, they're already on the path of taking over humanity. But if they manage to get their hands on him, they can drastically expedite that process because he could single-handedly feed 1,000 of them.
Well, are we going to go with
But
just
if-
vampires? Because it was.
Just going with vampires, werewolves, all those
All
guys.
the
Just
creatures
they're
of the
working
night.
together
I was
because
gonna
they're
say,
in great threat danger.
I've written a vampire novel before. It's really good. Read it. And I put in quite a few.
Oh yeah, I have a
Well,
list
just-
already
just
of multiple
vampires,
different types of
creatures.
creatures.
Yeah.
So and I think but we're kind of utilizing all the monsters, but we're kind of just putting vampires in and then just saying that's all the monsters, but we'll act
we're
like
just
vampires.
using vampires as
Yeah,
the.
but-
No, you're
the
thinking
matter.
like vampires. Each one of them would go. Different types of monsters act differently.
Good point. What's the
Okay.
list you have so far?
Ooh, now
Vampires,
this is-
werewolves, the undead, mages, nightmares, things like that. Fae.
Okay.
Yeah, all
Demons
kinds
So
of
in
vampires,
there.
they're going
Oh,
into
yeah.
politics to try to take over, and they're probably wanting this guy.
The vampires would actually be the one least likely to perform
Good
the
point.
ritual because the vampires already have everything they need.
Good
They
point.
have humans who are unaware of their presence that they can feed on.
Good point.
Werewolves, the thing
Werewolves-
about them is that they go on giant rampages in the middle of everything. The ones that are that's why I really like the idea of, instead of making the monsters the villains, make an actual cult that's trying to do everything.
To use these creatures to
Yeah.
Okay.
create
That's
some kind of
Okay, that's
utopia.
fair.
And the cult
in their
doesn't
mind.
all have to be the same race.
Exactly. That's my point.
Okay,
Mhm.
you could do that. Okay, so we've got some villains.
Mm-hmm.
We've got
Some idea of our
some
hero.
idea of our hero. This still needs a lot of work. A love story is very easy to write into this. I mean,
Mhm.
if guys write vampire novels, then they're all vicious vampires that the hero kills. When girls write vampire novels, they're romances.
Usually
So-
romantic.
That also
yep.
want to kill you.
Yes.
No.
Sometimes. All
No,
right. So
I
how do
could
we
write a
make...
vampire. No, I can't write a vampire romance. I'd write a werewolf romance.
All right.
That's
Well,
fair.
we've got plenty
Vampires
of
just
options.
don't
I
work.
have the most interesting take on the whole vampire thing.
Yeah,
in my
vampire
book.
romance just doesn't actually work, like mechanically.
It does in my books.
Well,
That's
that-
because you
Don't
don't.
give spoilers to them. Don't give spoilers. But it does in my books. I don't go with the classic.
Yes, and you have to completely put on three times as much world building to make it work.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what makes it
That's
fun. Is
okay.
that it's got a lot more world building.
Anyway.
and-
All right.
Okay, but back onto this. So we
So
have.
it sounds like what's going on is that the cult is trying to take him because
His
power
power
will
will.
quickly really expedite their process of.
Mhm.
What do you
Ooh,
mean?
one
One
of the
trying to
things
take over the world.
Well,
summon an
since he's so
ancient
delicious,
god,
it could
or-
be that his power would he if they utilized him, they would be able to control all the monsters.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Which then you could throw in fun characters who are just monsters. It's like, yeah, I'm a werewolf. Yeah, just as long just be careful on the full moon. But other than that, yeah, I can be helpful.
I'm a
Just a
really
regular
nice guy.
I'm
Yeah.
a really nice guy, except
Well,
on the full
strong and
moon.
helpful. Just don't come near me on a full moon. I will bite your head off.
Yeah, literally.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
we've got a conflict. We've got a villain. I would like to work on this conflict a lot more, but we only have so
Yeah.
much time. We've got a hero. There's definitely place
Mhm.
for love story in here. Anything else we really need for the first?
I think
Ideas
we're
We
good.
here?
got it.
All right. Who could write this?
Good question.
I'd have a shot.
Oh, I could write this. My thing is, I've written vampire before, so I
This
don't
isn't
really
a vampire story. This is a cult story.
I've
Yeah.
written
Creature
cult
of the
stuff
night.
before too.
Yeah,
I've
no,
written a lot of things.
this
Yeah,
is
but
less
yeah.
vampire and more urban fantasy, but which you have written before. But yeah, I could write this one.
Mm-hmm.
Slaying
fact, I could
monsters
have-
at night.
Oh, it would be a
Slaying
lot.
monsters in the dead of night kind of story.
Oh,
then.
yeah, that's one of the big things is you could have a lot of different elements because
Mhm.
big action scenes. Yeah, this guy's literally immortal. He can go in and you can beat him up as much as you want, and he'll be fine later.
See, something I
All
would
right,
like to
well, I
see
hope
is
you
a
have-
lot more world building and
Yeah,
what these
it needs
different
a lot
creatures of
more
the
world
night
building.
and their interplay and how they all, their
Oh,
issues with
I-
who's going to
I
going
have-
to go against the humans, who's going to help the humans. So there's
Lots
a lot
of,
more
dark
development
creature
to do.
politics.
But it
Actually, you want this
definitely, it
Okay,
definitely
lots of-
has,
Sorry.
it definitely has potential. There's just a
Yeah.
lot more work to do on
Lots
this one.
of
Yeah.
dark
Well,
creature
here's the thing.
politics. So
If you really wanted to write this story, sit down with me for like an hour, maybe 3, and I can give you all the interplay between the different races.
One of these
Sweet.
days, we need to pick some of the ones that we really, would like to do, and let's do the videos. The next step, because right
Yeah.
now in these we only have time to get a
Mhm.
basic idea. And as the next step,
what
how to
stories
take
would
it.
you like the next step on? And
Yeah,
What ideas
let us
do you
know
have
in the
for this
comments.
stories? Races, factions, reasons for why this guy became immortal. So go ahead and send them in the comments, and if you have ideas for that, please send those too.
We'll see you next time.